Hello everyone and welcome back to Knowledge for Kids YouTube channel, and today we are going to learn about the great story written by Saki, The Lumber Room. Lumber Room by Saki. A small biography of the author. Biography. He was born in Burma, now Myanmar, in 1870. H. Munro worked as a journalist before gaining fame as a short story writer under the pen name Saki. Style: a satirical commentary and Edwardian society and culture. His first book, The Rise of Russian Empire. Let us know about the author. Saki, a brief biography. Hector Hugh Munro, better known by the pen name Saki, was born in Burma. Munro's reputation as a writer rests on his short stories which satirize the social conventions, cruelty and foolishness of the Edwardian era. Munro's stories with twist endings are often compared to the stories of O. Henry. However, his stories are not innocent or sentimental, but mixed with outrageousness, humor with seemingly justified malice. Main characters in the story. Main characters: aunt, a tyrant, strict way of nurture, wise religious. Nicholas, a clever, intelligent boy, a dreamer in disgrace. Analysis of the poem, The Lumber Room. Analysis: a short story, third-person narration through the eye of Nicholas. Ridiculous and skeptical tone of the text. Stylistic device depicts the inner world of the main characters. Paragraphs: the adult's world, the child's world, conflict. Explanation about the story. The Lumber Room is a classic short story about a child who is too clever for the adults. Specifically, it is about how one clever but mysterious boy, Nicholas, seeks to outwin his aunt so he can gain access to the lumber room with its hidden treasure and curiosities. Now let's listen to the story. The Lumber Room is a classic short story about a child who is too clever for the adults. Specifically, it is about how one clever but mysterious boy, Nicholas, seeks to outwin his aunt so he can gain access to the lumber room with its hidden treasure and curiosities. But the story might also be viewed as another analysis of the nature of obedience and the limited adult view of the world, when contrasted with the child's more expansive and imaginative outlook it can read. But Nicholas is smarter than his aunt, who endeavors to keep him indoors. Or first of all, he is told he will not be allowed to accompany his siblings on their day trip because he refused to eat his bread and milk. Early that morning he had refused to eat his wholesome bread and milk on the seemingly ferocious ground that there was a frog in it. Older and wiser and better people had told him that there could not possibly be a frog in his bread and milk, and that he was not to talk nonsense. He continued to talk what seemed the weirdest nonsense, and described with much detail the coloration and marking of all frog. The dramatic part of the incident was there really was a frog in Nicholas' basin of bread and milk. He had put it himself, so he felt entitled to know something about it. The scene of taking a frog from the garden and putting it into a bowl of wholesome bread and milk was enlarged on a great length. But the fact that stood out clearest in the whole affair, as it presented itself to the mind of Nicholas, was the older, wiser, and better people had been proved to be fully in error in matters about which they had expressed the utmost assurance. as a punishment for refusing to eat his food. Remember, not for putting a frog in said food. Nicholas is kept indoors all day while the other children are out playing. Once again, Nicholas outwits his aunt, convincing her that her longs to go exploring in the gooseberry garden, and thus decoying her into keeping stern watch on the garden, since the fully expects him to attempt to break out into that fruity paradise. This is just a distraction, since knowing that he knows has his aunt out the way, Nicholas is able to steal the key that unlocks the lumber room of the house and gain access to the forbidden chamber of secrets. Among other things, a tapestry catches his eye and fires his imagination. A man, dressed in the hunting costume of some remote period, had just transfixed a stag with an arrow. It could not have been a difficult shot, because the stag was only 1 or 2 paces away from him. In the thickly growing vegetation that the picture suggested, it would not have been difficult to creep up to a feeding stag, and the 2 spotted dogs that were springing forward to join in the chase had evidently been trained to keep to heel till the arrow was discharged. The part of the picture was simple of interesting, but did the huntsman see what Nicholas saw? That 4 galloping wolves were coming in his direction through the wood. His aunt, believing she must have missed him when he crept out into the gooseberry garden, goes look for him, and ends up falling into the rainwater tank. She calls for Nicholas to come and help her to get out, but he tells her that he has been forbidden to set foot in the garden. I told you not to, and now I tell you that you may, came the voice from the rainwater tank, rather impatiently. Your voice doesn't sound like us, objected Nicholas. You may be the evil one tempting me to be disobedient. Aunt often tells me that the evil one tempts me and that I always yelled. This time I'm not going to yell. Don't talk nonsense, said the prisoner in the tank. Go and fetch the ladder. Will there be strawberry jam for tea? Asked Nicholas innocently. Certainly there will be, said the aunt, privately resolving that Nicholas should have none of it. Now I know that you are the evil one and not aunt, shouted Nicholas gleefully. When we asked Aunt for strawberry jam yesterday, she said there wasn't any. I know there are 4 jars of it in the store cupboard. Because I looked and cursed, you know it's there, but she didn't. Because she said there wasn't any. Oh, David, you have sold yourself. There was an unusual sense of luxury in being able to talk to an aunt as though one was telling to the evil one, but Nicholas knew, with childish discernment, that such luxuries were not to be overindulged in. Note the use of childish discernment in that final paragraph. In the lumber room, it is the child who is discovering, not the adult childness. It is thus turned on its head. Saki could easily have written childlike and spoiled the effect with too much romanticism, and in a paradoxical inversion, the suggesting Saki, never contemporary. Oscar Wilde, the old believe everything, the middle-aged suspect everything, and the young know everything. The lumber room ends with Nicholas walking away and leaving his aunt to be recused by a kitchen maid, on the ground that he would be going against her own orders if he strayed into the forbidden garden to rescue her. The child turns the adult punitive rules against her. In doing so, he outwits her, adding her own lie about there being no jam to have for tea. To the list of charges, Nicholas' mind returns to the tapestry he had been captivated by in the lumber room. As for Nicholas, he too was silent in the absorption of one who has much to think about it. It was just possible, he considered, that the huntsman would escape with his hounds while the wolves feasted on the stricken stud. If this makes the aunt a liar and hypocrite, seemingly happy to disregard her own commands when it means saving herself for more times in the water tank, then Nicholas is hardly innocent himself. In summary, he is the epitome of the mysterious style. Nicholas suggested not only St. Nicholas, Parton said for children, but also Old Nick, one of many nicknames for the devil, a nod to Nicholas' brave and roguish nature. But in the lumber room, it is the aunt who Nicholas fiendishly identifies with the devil, and it is at least one analyst or entrepreneur of the lumber room. He been right. Social convention is stifling and dull. The imagination should not be caged by religious observed rules. The delicious wit and enterprise of Nicholas is what thrills us in the story. His aunt we feel belongs in that water tank with all the other boring adults. So we have been to the end of the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you guys in the next video. Like, share, subscribe, and thank you for watching. Bye.